Welcome to Kayfabe Club. We're doing a special bonus episode regarding Survivor Series.
Yeah.
It's me, Brian Ferguson.
Nick DeJardins.
No, Robert Thackeray. We didn't do a formal introduction last time, so it caught me off guard. I'm sorry.
We didn't.
We just did a fly-in.
We expected you to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow us on
All you
Twitter. I'm
fans.
at PB and Ladies. I think Brian's at Brian.Ferguson08, and I think you're a new American Classic.
A new AmeriClassic.
AmeriClassic,
Twitter has
okay.
Twitter has 280 characters, but tons of limits on your actual handle.
Yeah, because fuck all that noise. And Towers Underground is the main thing, so we'll see what's going on there.
Towers UG.
Yeah.
So Survivor Series is coming up Sunday.
Oh, I can't wait.
This is our bonus episode.
I'm glad one of us can't wait.
Honestly, I'm legitimately more excited for War Games, but I don't know. It's a big four. Even though every year I feel like I'm really disappointed by Mania, I'm always like, I'm so excited. It's Mania weekend. Like it's Christmas for wrestling fans. So I guess this is Easter. I don't know. It's fine. No, I don't care. Thanks. Great.
Survivor Series is like the
It's
like
the
the redheaded.
bastard
It's
child
the
of the
redheaded
top
stepchild of the four.
Sure.
Because even SummerSlam has been SummerSlam for me will forever be great because I saw John Cena get fucked.
Fair.
So like that's SummerSlam. Like after that, I'm always because like that historically has been the pay-per-view where John Cena loses. Now it doesn't matter because John Cena's not a great he's not like really in it, so I don't have to hate him.
Yeah, Cena's now doing the thing where he's like trying to find the right person to pass the torch to.
He's gonna be The Rock soon.
So
Yeah.
and he went in.
He's
on
off
The
doing
Rock a little while
Transformers
ago.
movies now or
So,
something.
Yeah,
Mostly comedies.
I don't know. Like Survivor Series is great, but it's that one time a year they try and do like the you versus them or the he versus him thing, and this time because they split brands, it's SmackDown versus Raw again. And because they don't do any sort of long-term booking for any of this, it doesn't they wipe the slate clean every year. It doesn't matter. It won't matter in 2 weeks after this. It didn't matter 4 weeks before this. It just doesn't matter for brand things. It's great because we get to see people that we'll never get to see, wrestle each other,
right.
And that is fun. But if you're looking at this from like a storyline standpoint, it just doesn't matter.
It's a throwaway.
And that is disappointing to me.
I get that. But realistically,
Oh, I'm still excited for the card, but like
There's
yeah.
one match that has to do with like long-term booking stuff, and that's going to be the pre-show.
Jumping right
I'm
in.
really excited for that pre-show match. Though.
Enzo versus Kalisto in a match that none of us knew that we actually wanted and still don't.
I'm sorry, Enzo Amore with Drew Gulak.
That I want. But
With Drew Gulak.
he's just going to hang out with his sign outside of the ring,
I'm okay
hopefully
with that.
trying to simmer down the crowd, get them to stop chanting so goddamn much.
just kill the crowd right before Survivor Series starts. Makes sense. Who needs a like fun flashy opener when you can have Drew Gulak out there just trying to make the crowd shut the fuck up?
I mean, if the crowd could shut the fuck up more, me and Drew Gulak would be
Best friends?
so happy.
I'm just saying that a lot of those chants are not deserved.
No, but you deserve it.
It's like there's a sign, or it's like there's a lit sign that pops up whenever they want you to chant of like, holy, or like the old applause signs of holy shit.
Right. That's fair.
They're
I'd
so
be okay with
forced
that.
now.
I'm gonna eBay that later, see if I can find a neon sign that I can light up that just says "Holy shit."
You think someone's gonna get interrupted in that?
I feel like we could get some interference in this match. I think Enzo's gonna take it.
I think Enzo's gonna win clean.
You think so?
I think Enzo wins clean.
It's either Enzo's gonna win clean, or I don't think Kalisto has this. I don't think they're
Jaw
gonna.
Dunzo, 1, 2, 3. Too easy.
Awful as that is to think about, I feel like.
I mean, we may get some like Gulak interference, but I don't think we're gonna get anything like from anybody that isn't like in the three of them. So yeah, I mean maybe.
That's fair. My prediction is Neville's good backstage now. I think.
Have we heard from Neville?
Nothing official, but they also they let go of a few people last week. They let go of Emma,
their releases have been
2 other people. I don't remember who.
They got rid of.
I remember who.
Emma. They just dropped Ellsworth.
Yep.
There were
Who are the other 2? main roster guys, and I just can't fucking not Kurt Hawkins somehow. So
he's got kids.
Kurt Hawkins is a good brother, I hear.
I want to say it's one of the vaudevillians. I can't remember his name.
Oh
He's
no,
already done. He's already been out.
He's been out for a little while.
And Aiden's still there to sing for Rusev Day.
That's so fun.
So
keep doing that. A couple guys
Two
who
other
haven't
guys.
been on TV for a while.
But Neville has not been released yet. And
Not officially.
Neville took his ball and walked home all the way to England a few weeks ago.
Summer Rae and Darren Young.
Summer Rae and Darren Young.
Oh, yeah, we all did forget about Darren Young.
Mr. No Days Off and Summer Rae, who was just Stacy Keibler version 2.0.
But, without the
Stacy.
Playboy cover.
Right, yeah.
Stacy's.
One of those two has slept with George Clooney and the other never will.
Yeah.
So I think we could see some Neville interference in this match as a way to reintroduce the King of the Cruiserweights.
That would be fun because I want more Neville. I did not know that I wanted more Neville before, but his last turn was just so great.
I could do without the ears.
Okay, so
Not saying cut his ears off.
We cut his ears straight off.
I don't think I can get a Neville without the ears.
Sure.
So I just know Neville for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Only because of the ears.
What if with the ears he did like a Lord of the Rings elf gimmick? What if Neville
Go farther to the left with it.
Yeah.
Just go crazy with it.
Neville is now billed from Rivendell? I'd be perfectly okay with that.
And just straight like give him ears, bill him from Rivendell, and then change nothing about his gimmick, and I'm
You're
more in.
100% in.
I am 1,000% in.
Now, what if they just had him part his ears in a different way? Would that be fun?
Part his hair or something. I don't know what they're doing with the ears, but Neville's really done it for me because as a face he didn't do it, and then as a heel I just was like, all right, so he's angry a lot.
What if they pin his ears like a puppy?
Yeah, I mean anything double-sided tape. I don't know what we can do about this, but something, please.
Oh, put him in a match with Mick Foley and Vader. That's problem solved.
Yeah,
that was a throwback.
I think Enzo wins. I don't think there's any sort of funny business here.
Kalisto doesn't.
I think Enzo wins, and I think it's pretty clean.
I think that they want to keep people watching 205, and it makes sense to keep Enzo with the title.
Nobody's gonna tune in if Kalisto's the champion.
No.
Now, Nick and I have been talking about this. It would be great to see 205 expand or to see them add another title in. I would love to see them just reintroduce the light heavyweight belt as kind of like.
Well, doing the UK one, aren't they? They're kind of fucking around with the UK championship, which I really don't know what that means, but.
Well, that's for their UK only show,
which is apparently coming after the beginning of the year.
Oh please no, not more shows. Just add them in.
They got a whole network.
Yeah, they got a whole network, and I already have 7 hours a week to watch.
Tag belts.
Yeah,
that works.
205 tag would be great.
Cruiserweight tag belts is never a bad way to go, especially because you got. I mean, you've got pairs that you can easily do already. You put Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik together.
They already have two like weird stables going with Kendrick Gallagher and Swan and Alexander. So just add 2 or 3 more, and you've got a division.
Bring the
honestly, if we've learned anything from the main roster, you don't even need 2 or 3 more. You just need 2.
Well, hell, I said, bring the Singh brothers over. Send Gargano up. Send Hideo up. Bring Tommaso up when he gets back. 205 is instantly more watchable.
Right.
Not that it's bad now, but it's more appealing to maybe the casual fan.
Right. I mean, belts make it compelling, and right now you don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, you also have too many people to have it make sense that there's that much competition for a single title.
Right. Absolutely.
They're in a weird spot for sure.
So I mean, NXT is the same length of time. It's an hour long. You have 3 titles there,
and possibly a 4th soon.
Right.
So
I mean, they're doing the thing where they're recording it both on Raw after show and SmackDown after show. It kind of makes sense that, or have a light heavyweight and have a cruiserweight, have a tag match, make the show like a half hour longer.
Just a TV title would be fine. Just whatever. Just as long as you have sort of, you have your cruiserweight belt, and then you have your sort of mid card or under that belt, whatever it is, it'll get over.
Right. Because you do have headlining potential people on the show.
Oh,
but you
without
also have
question.
people who just aren't there yet, which is totally fine.
You've got, I mean, you got to think guys like Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, Lindsay Dorado, Grand Metalik. They've all done the indies for years. Honestly, the youngest, most inexperienced guy on the show is your champ right now, is Enzo.
Right.
And he does what he needs to get the show over. So, man, throw a little more talent on there. Not that there's not now, but like I said, bring Hideo up. Hideo fits the let Hideo massacre Enzo right before Mania if they don't do the big cast booking from last week.
Please, dear God.
Oh, be so happy.
Let's see here. We got
I love this one.
We got Miz versus Baron Corbin in a match that, does anyone give a shit?
No.
They can't pay me to take care about this. You could have, I don't know,
Have
just
this match
somebody
take place-
literally massaging my dick during this, and I could not get hard.
Yeah.
Have this match take place entirely over Twitter, and it would be a better match than what they're going to put on this
I
pay-per-view.
There's nothing appealing about it.
Miz wrestles fairly safe. He's not like flashy, and like Corbin is just like a bruiser. So like Corbin doesn't really work because he's like a heel with no hair, and Miz is great. Miz is great up until he enters the ring, and then he's just average, and he's there to make somebody look better.
Miz carries a face. He's really good at that.
And Corbin just isn't.
Heel versus heel.
Yeah.
There's
And it's like a heel that nobody cares about versus the Miz, who like we all have been getting for 13 years, it seems like at this point.
the only time heel versus heel is ever interesting is when you have just this big nasty monster heel versus another big nasty monster heel. You get Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, you're like, well, fuck yeah, I want to see that. You get the Miz versus Baron Corbin, and that's your bathroom break match right there.
And you're
That's
doing
exactly
it way
what
before,
this
which
is.
means I'm gonna have to pee a lot in anticipation for the rest of this card.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get all my pre-pee out too.
Just get it, just pee for the whole show.
Yeah.
This is 5 hours worth of pee at the beginning.
Also, yeah, this show is like 18 hours long.
Yeah,
Like I'm gonna have to take a break in the middle to sleep and wake back up and continue watching this shit, which is another reason why this being part of the Big Four makes me want to cut my eyes out.
Fair. 2 hours of pre-show.
I'm
and at
really
least-
pessimistic and
3 hours
angry
of
for
show.
the first part of this.
I'm okay with it.
Is that kind of my is that my
seems fair.
shtick?
Yeah, you're the angry guy.
Like in the three-way commentary of this, I'm definitely like the heel commentator. I
Oh
think.
yeah,
yeah.
You are heel all the way.
We got the ladies Survivor match, which is still technically missing a person.
Did they not announce it? Because they did like the sneaky Cena announcement. I don't think they've got anybody for it.
Right.
I think Paige comes through. I think they do the Raw announcements first. So like you got Asuka coming out, you got Alicia coming out, you got Nia Jax and Sasha and Bayley all come out and they enter the ring, and you got Becky comes out, Carmella comes out, Naomi comes out, Tamina comes out, and everybody's just like, who's this fourth person? And then Paige's music hits, and I don't know what kind of pop she'll get. I'm really concerned about what will happen, but I'll mark for it because I love Paige because she's like that first she's like pre-women's revolution, but
Right.
she was,
And she's like the anti-women's division.
yeah, like
Sure.
she was the one who kicked that off and really like
Realistically, yeah.
took it from AJ. So I've always been a big Paige guy.
She's great.
She's also in my wheelhouse.
really talented. I would like for it to be Paige. I think there's probably about a 75% chance that it's Paige because she's ready to come
She's
back.
been showing up. She's been in the backstage. I follow her on Instagram
She
and
was at
Twitter,
Raw
and
and
like yeah,
SmackDown.
she's just it makes too much sense to keep her off TV, and it fits too perfectly, I think.
If I know Meltzer was saying today that she's scheduled to be at SmackDown on Tuesday, so if she doesn't, they could just bring her back on Tuesday. But it makes more sense for someone who's been gone for over a year to bring them back at the pay-per-view
With some fanfare.
Now, my only thing about that is though, you're bringing her back to lose because I don't see Raw not picking up
The win here?
The win here.
Just because of the star power or
Because
Asuka?
of Asuka.
Asuka gets DQ'd. She's going to get DQ'd. She doesn't run through the whole team. She gets DQ'd.
But see, not that I have a problem with her getting DQ'd, but if she doesn't get DQ'd, or if she does get DQ'd, they can't just go and DQ Braun in the.
They will.
Oh, sure they can.
We'll get there.
But it's horrible.
Oh, it's terrible, but they will.
I don't want that so much.
Or, worst case scenario, Asuka actually gets dropped, and then they change it to undefeated in singles competition.
Oh God, please don't give me
Which will be
that.
terrible because she survived triple threat and fatal four ways in
Right.
NXT. So
I feel like
survived, dominated would be the better word to
yeah, dominate is much closer. I feel like SmackDown picks it up, and I guess Asuka's gonna get DQ'd because they're not gonna break her streak here. They can't. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
It'd be a very WWE thing to do, but it doesn't. It shouldn't.
If-
They protected Umaga during the same kind of thing
Yep.
during this, so you gotta.
If they break her streak, it's at SummerSlam or WrestleMania, the top two pay-per-views. They're not going to break it outside of there. It's too.
I think
it's too money at this point.
I'm calling Ember Moon at WrestleMania. That's
Yeah.
what or Ember Moon on the show after WrestleMania,
Sure.
the same way Paige came out
Right.
after. Like that's my long-term Asuka.
I can completely see that.
But yeah, I think the way that I think most of this is going to go is that Raw's going to pick up a lot of the singles competition, and SmackDown's going to get the men one. So I could see Raw getting this one here just because
Fair.
of star power.
Sure.
I don't. What's your opinion on this, Michael Cole? Of the people here,
I don't even know.
Is it because I have more
Straight man.
tattoos?
huh?
Is it because I have more tattoos?
Brian's the most straight man of the three of us, I would
That's
say.
Welcome to my life.
And I mean, you're just so excitable, Corey Graves.
Touche. I do get excited over literally everything.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like a cop out to have to have Asuka lose at this match,
Yeah.
and then just be like, she's still undefeated, while
Meh,
technically correct is not, or seems kind of
Also
shitty.
stupid. Yeah.
I don't see a world in which Braun doesn't get DQ'd just because that kind of seems to be his MO.
Raw.
BRRR.
I don't know. I feel like both of those are like the big powerhouse players. One of them makes sense as a powerhouse player because he's literally bigger than all of the rest of the team. Whereas Asuka really like has this crazy, she's just like strong style. She's not intimidating looking, but she's just fucking dirty.
There's
The only
a
way
reason
that-
for the Asuka's gonna kill you chant.
Right.
The only way that SmackDown wins is if it's Paige comes back and they decide to give her the W.
Sure.
That's the only way I think SmackDown wins this. As far from a women's
No,
from
I
the
get
women's one.
I can see her being the last surviving member, and then Asuka just
Knocking out just like going after and just like getting Bailey and then getting Sasha and then like some Nia Jax is already gone and like
Yeah.
eliminating Alicia and then somehow it's like she knocked out 3 people and it's Asuka versus her and then Asuka just like ramrods her
just
destroys
her.
and you're just like shit, Asuka's like on another level.
Yeah. It
This
makes
is a
sense.
good match to highlight that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Asuka's your video game end boss of the women's division.
Yeah.
I mean, she
For
is.
sure.
Like that's her gimmick. Nobody's ready for Asuka.
It's really interesting the captains that they've chosen for each show.
God, I love Alicia Fox.
I love Alicia Fox. She is absolutely fantastic.
Crazy Alicia Fox and Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch is fantastic,
I love
and
Becky
let her
so
do more
much.
shit.
Might be a redhead bias, but Becky's the greatest.
Between the hair and the accent, I'm sold.
Touche.
What do we got? We got the Bar
Yep.
versus the Usos, which is another heel versus heel match. Both of them are the Bar are definitely heels. The Usos seem to be like riding the line lately.
They're kind of tweeners, yeah.
Because they're just over from being the Usos like on
Right.
one stand, and then their heel gimmick has gone so well with like people like us who the old Uso gimmick didn't necessarily work with.
Sure.
That they are heels, but they're not.
They're heels in the way that Bullet Club are heels.
Yeah, we're all just we were all really happy to see them stop doing the classic Samoan shtick
Oh
of
my
wearing
God.
face paint and
Yep.
doing weird tribal dances. like 2 steps away from having grass skirts in the ring.
If I had to hear one more time about how
Rikishi.
about them being Rikishi's kids and how the fucking New Zealand rugby team also does this war dance before their matches from fucking JBL. My God, I'm so glad he's gone.
What do we think about this?
I think that the bar wins.
Yeah, I see the bar taking it.
Any reason why specifically? I really don't have any. I really don't know what to think about this because, like, I'm looking at this from like this a lot alike with a lot of them seem to be one off, and I don't really know like.
I don't know. I don't really have anything like to explain it other than they just have like more.
The bar need to look stronger. I guess.
Think so. Okay, so Survivor Series last year, the tag match came down to the bar versus the Usos, and
Yeah.
I think
Usos won.
the Usos won last year.
Yeah.
So.
Only
feel
makes
like
sense to give it to
balance
the
it
bar.
out. Give it to the bar.
Okay.
And they both have this like really interesting thing going on where like both of them have been intermittent champs. Like both of them have gotten are like 3-time champs on each of their brands, but
Right.
like in rapid succession.
Oh yeah, it's been super quick trade-offs.
Right. So like neither one of them has been booked as the most dominant force because both of them have dropped their titles pretty frequently back and forth over the past several months.
Sure.
One of them with New Day, where it was just those two going at each other.
Right.
And then the other being the Bar, who have gone from, or they're just like, or whatever the flavor of the month tag team is.
Yeah.
The Hardys for a day or whatever.
Not the club.
How the club has yet to have a title.
They had it for a month.
How are these people going on before the Shield?
I can tell you that.
I don't
because-
care. We'll get there.
I'm sure the order of the card will change.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Because it's probably not in the actual order, but whatever.
Now,
But I don't know.
as it's currently booked and sold.
Is this the actual order that we're finding? Okay.
No,
Thank God.
No.
this is just the order that it's listed as on I think the WWE page and the Wikipedia page.
Okay. Thank God.
We got Brock versus AJ, which is
Yes.
gonna be the match to watch.
Maybe.
I don't see any other sleeper matches on here. Like, what do we see as far because that's gonna be it. Like, I think that one makes the card because everything else is pretty weak.
Brock AJ all depends on how they book Brock in this match and how they let AJ look.
I really hope that he doesn't go. I really
Brock's
would
gonna
like to
squash
see.
the shit
I
out of
just
AJ.
don't want a 7-minute Brock match. I want to actually see because look,
I
when
wanna
Brock
let it
first came
fester.
back and Brock was fighting Cena and Brock was fighting Punk, they were actual matches. Brock wasn't doing a whole lot of
He wasn't 3
varying
moves
his
of doom.
moves. Right.
Well, it wasn't 3 moves and doing done.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It wasn't 16 fucking German suplexes and then I'm gonna F5 you and pin you. It was an actual match. And if there's one person I want to look,
I want to
there's a-
see AJ be the guy who kicks out of the F5 because they've been building up the F5 to be like this monster killer move. I would love to see,
I don't know. Taker kicked out of the F5 multiple times.
Sure.
But, I
Right.
mean, that's Taker.
but
so-
as of recent booking, the F5 has gone to a one and done move.
oh yeah.
And I would love to see AJ be the guy to beat that. Because, I mean, you had one and done on Braun, which didn't make fucking sense.
right.
Considering Cena's kicked out of it, Roman has kicked out of the F5
Yep.
at WrestleMania.
Yep.
The F5 is one of the more protected moves in the WWE.
What I'm excited for, you're going to know how the match goes the minute Brock gets behind AJ and grabs him by the waist. Because you're going to get one of two things. You're either going to get a really nasty German suplex, or you're going to get the AJ Styles German suplex flip spot that you used to get in TNA and you used to get in New Japan, where he lands on his fucking feet and then kicks you in the face.
I know what we're not going to see in this match.
Goldberg.
The Styles
We're
Clash.
not going to see the Styles Clash. God, I would pay so much to see that, though. Jesus.
I mean, I really appreciate how AJ Styles has his like Styles Clash for like opponents that are approximately his size, and then he has the phenomenal forearm for people that are larger than him. So
Right.
he can feasibly go against anybody. I mean,
Sure.
AJ Styles is on another level.
We
in
could
terms of
make
shit,
an
so, like,
episode just jerking off AJ Styles.
I
we
mean,
might just. But
Could we?
Could we? I'll take that sponsorship. What's he paying?
but yeah, I just there's a lot here, and I truthfully think that the one where AJ Styles doesn't get squashed is more likely, but I do think there's the possibility of an AJ squash match is
Wouldn't that be
very
fucking
possible.
incredible?
Just because I don't love squash matches, but like if they're building up Brock to be this monster,
No,
and
but
if they
like-
feed AJ to Brock and he squashes him like Goldberg squashed people, or
Right.
like Brock has been squashing people, it's just like who beats him at that point? Like who?
Right.
He's
both
off
know
air
the
for
answer
6
to
months
that.
after.
We're not going to see him again until Rumble if we're lucky.
Yeah.
I think they're feeding Finn to him at Rumble. I think is the plan.
Don't tell me.
But
I don't want to.
Well, okay, so Finn beat AJ,
Mm-hmm.
and you feed Finn to him. He has to beat AJ, and like, how convincingly does he beat AJ at that point? Is the question? How convincingly? I guess that's the. How convincingly does Brock beat AJ?
I'm not entirely sure. We don't get a gender interference here.
Possibly.
To-
How many?
Man,
I
I
don't know
would
how many
fucking hate that.
DQ interferences we're gonna get, because if we get like 70% like DQ
This
interference,
is the
I'm gonna
weekend
be
of
so-
Dusty Rhodes booking.
I don't
Yeah.
know. If we
So
get some
plenty.
shitty Jeff Jarrett booking, I will never be madder.
Look, I'm just saying, Dusty loved. There's a reason that a shitty ending to a match that just is overbooked is called a Dusty finish. There's a reason for that,
Yeah.
and it's because Dusty loved it. And
Ugh.
I feel like if we get interference in any match outside of the men's Survivor Series tag match, this is the match most likely, because
Yeah.
Jinder went from being on this show and being a big part of it to
Nowhere.
nothing.
Nowhere.
And I feel like they're not ready to completely give up on Jinder.
No,
since-
and they shouldn't, because that would be terrible.
no, but I do think he needs to get dropped down to the lower
Mid-card?
card scene. Yeah, yeah,
would be so happy if he took the belt off of Corbin. I would be.
sure.
Oh, I'd be happy with that.
I'd be perfectly okay. Yeah, feel free to do that.
I don't know. My personal thing is, I think this is a 10-minute match and Brock squashes him,
God, I just
and
want
he
that
wins
to-
clean.
just
I don't think
not-
so. He's going to win clean. I don't think that it's going to be a squash, because I think that there's a little bit too much hype, and I think that would be...
Plus, it's 5 hours, and you can't have Brock go out for 10 minutes in a 5-hour match.
Honestly,
in a 5-hour
though?
pay-per-view.
Realistically, if there's one match Brock can lose,
You think it's this one because it's a throwaway? It doesn't matter.
because there's
Like it doesn't
no
affect
title
his.
on the line.
Right. It doesn't matter. He can lose a match a year, and quite frankly, this is the one to lose.
It won't happen. Brock's not losing again until Mania. But if there was one match this year he could feasibly lose, it would be this one.
All right. We got
Shield.
we got the T-shirt sales match.
Yeah.
Shield versus the New Day.
Shield wins.
So
Shield
much
wins.
available merch.
There's no. I mean, there's just no. There's no way the New Day wins this. They just put the Shield back together.
This is my bathroom break.
They're trying to get Roman over.
Yeah, I think the
Shield
Shield, the Shield, and I mean, actually really loved the promo that the New Day cut on Tuesday for SmackDown, because
Sure.
they were like, why are you guys rooting for the Shield? The New Day's been here. The New Day's been doing this. Like, we're like all these New Day chants. You know, New Day rocks, and the Shield has already broken up once. Like, by the time that Mania push comes around, they're not going to be there. Roman's going to be doing his own thing. They're going to be chasing their own titles, and we're going to be here. So why is the Shield a thing? And I was just like, all right, pipe bomb.
That
like
was
just
a
miniature little like.
legit little bit of shooting there. I feel like
So
Eh.
no,
Shield wins.
I mean the Shield wins, but I just
Bliss versus Flair.
Charlotte.
Yep.
It's got to be. Look. Alexa's great. I love Alexa. The bitchy
I don't
cheerleader
think-
thing does it for me. It's fine.
I don't think that you can possibly be more over right now than Charlotte Flair.
No, not at all.
yeah, just with everything going on, like
Anything else to say on that? Fuck it. Headline it is.
Alexa's butt.
We got the
okay, I'm good now.
I had to think on it for a minute. R/wrestle with the plot.
R/ that's my fucking screensaver.
we got the men's Survivor Series match.
Oh my god.
I only see one world in which
There's so much possibly going on. In
Yeah,
this match.
is
like
this
there's-
match has wild possibilities as far as booking goes.
Yeah, for sure. I think that SmackDown takes it, unless you see.
SmackDown takes it because there's no like dysfunctionality between it. And they basically brought in a ringer that is John Cena.
SmackDown takes it because it's an all-face team.
Yeah. Versus the most
Randy Orton,
heel
the
team.
face.
I mean, he's not a
Trust
heel.
me, Randy Orton doesn't like him being a face any more than we do.
Fact. But yeah, I mean, it is an all-face team versus what is a
Mostly
three-fifths
heel team. Because the only true, well, you have Angle and Balor who are both faces.
Yeah. But so look at this match because one, you've got three people off the bat that you have to protect. You have to protect Cena because he's Cena. You have to protect Triple H because he's Triple H. You have to protect Braun because you can't make Braun look bad right now.
The only person that Braun's ever lost to consistently has been Roman Reigns, and he's not in this match, so fuck it.
And I was thinking, okay, you do the joke spot where Braun is somehow accidentally the first out. But last year, Braun gets pinned at SummerSlam by Ellsworth in the Survivor Series match.
So they've already done that.
Yeah. So the only way Braun gets out of this match is DQ.
I think he gets DQ'd.
Braun has to get DQ'd.
Like he goes the hell off and like does something to the ref, or
absolutely
like, just chair or table or power slam through like the announcer. Just something that the ref's just like, you can't do that because I'm flexing my ref muscles this one time.
The only way Braun eats a pin is if he is the last one on the team. It is like a 1-3 advantage for SmackDown, and all three SmackDown guys have their finishing move meters charged up all the way. Like we're talking like 3 Kinshasas.
You think Cena attitude? Like Cena would do the attitude adjustment at the end, and he would get the pin.
Cena does like the crazy rolling attitude adjustment.
Cena is the person who least needs.
He won't get it. He won't get over on
Who
Braun.
needs to make the final pin on this for either side on this match? Because I think
he has a record to break.
I think Knock needs it the most.
Yeah, Nakamura has been pretty.
After that whole gender thing,
Rude and Nakamura are just like stagnant at the moment for me, and I really don't know what they're doing with either of them. And they're kind of like on here, but like I'm not excited for.
I think that they really need to set up Nakamura and Rude instead of doing this whole Ziggler thing. They need to have a face-off or a rematch for
Knock and Rude's
for NXT because they did so well in NXT.
I mean, they're doing the same thing over in Raw. It seems with Joe and Balor, and it's working.
Yeah. I mean, if you take two people with chemistry and put them in the ring together, then you'll get good stuff.
Absolutely.
I
think.
I think there's a possible Angle H spot here that's going to set up a feud. I don't know exactly how I would have it go down or how it's possibly going to go down, but I definitely see that happening just because the Stephanie thing, the balance of possible power that's going down. There's definitely going to be a power struggle where Kurt's going to eventually just be like, all right, stop bending me over and ramming me in the ass because I don't like that as much as you think I like that.
Sure. Not feeling it, Steph.
I mean, he looks like a big red dick, but that doesn't mean he's actually a big red dick.
Isn't that Kane's gimmick?
So like, there's a possibility that we set up an H Angle feud for the future.
I see it.
I think what would be pretty cool.
Joe Balor is obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would like to, I think that the three of us are pretty confident that Kevin and Sammy are coming out.
I would be surprised to see them not on this pay-per-view in some way, and the only way I see it is costing Shane the match.
Really, because
I think they knock Shane out. I don't know if they necessarily do it, but I think like they might like just take Shane out of it completely, while somehow still allowing the match to continue, or they beat up John Cena, or in this case Shane McMahon after the fact.
One thing I thought was, given that Shane ate 37 finishing moves on Tuesday night, is if Shane's not able to compete and they don't do my amazing Daniel Bryan idea, Kevin, replace him with Kevin.
Well, then who's the leader in that?
Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin.
You have Kevin say that it's the Kevin. It's the Kevin and Sammy show. Sammy's your coach. Kevin's your main guy.
I think
and then Kevin picks up the win and fucking gloats about it.
I was gonna say, I think that the more fun thing to see is have them come out and have them win for SmackDown in some way.
Yeah.
Whether they run the interference or if they just somehow get on the team.
Right.
I think
somehow or because
the more fun
Nakamura
angle
and
is
Rude
that.
here seem sort of random, I would say. You could drop them in some form and put Owens and Sammy on there, just saying in a way that you get. Not saying that I would do it, but I'm saying that in a way that they get on the show, I could see it.
It makes more sense to drop Shane and have him be quote unquote injured.
Yeah, I mean,
If you dropped outside of Shane, I could see them dropping Rude just because Rude as a face is weird. It's weird and it doesn't work to me at all. But
how do they turn him at this point, though?
literally anyway, because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
literally
I
in
guess that's
any
true.
possible.
I don't know how he's. I don't
Just have him come out and be a complete asshole.
He
Like,
doesn't. He doesn't have to
easy.
do anything. He just has to come out and do a couple heel things in the ring, and that's it.
He's got a Flair gimmick.
His-
It's not that hard.
Yeah, his whole gimmick is that he's a douche.
He's better than you.
Yeah, he's glorious.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
that's how Survivor Series goes.
Yep. It's
So
coming.
it's
It's a thing.
so this is big because this is 25 years anniversary of the Montreal Screw Job or Screw
20
Job?
year.
20-year.
20-year anniversary of the Montreal Screw Job, which of course happened at Survivor Series 1997. Probably the moment that changed wrestling forever. Without it, you don't get. Without it, you might not get the death of Owen Hart. You might not get the early death of the British Bulldog. Bret Hart never gets his career broken by going to WCW. Shawn never wrestles The Undertaker and breaks his back. Maybe never becomes a born-again Christian and saves his own life.
You think that that's the timeline split of all of those things?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what gave us Vince McMahon as a heel. This is what sent Bret and the Bulldog over to WCW. It prolonged Owen getting his gimmick, The Game, which ended up going to Triple H.
It's in a big way that or led up to the heel turn for The Rock.
Yeah, absolutely. Without this, you don't get the Attitude Era as we know it. Everything changes. Everything changes without the Montreal Screw Job. It is the single most important moment to happen in wrestling in the past 25 years easy.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the NWO. Hogan's heel turn was a huge thing, but
The
this
finger poke of doom.
changed the business.
Yeah, no, for sure. You're right.
And
I mean, it's one of those things that if you have any wrestling list involved in pretty much anything, it's on that list.
absolutely.
I mean, if you go onto the WWE Network and watch their top 10 lists that they have, Montreal Screwjob is on virtually every episode.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy considering it's a black mark on the industry. Like,
Oh,
this
it's
is something
the
that they
blackest
tout.
of marks.
It's something that they tout at with almost like pride now, and it's just it's among the worst things that you can do. If not the worst thing. I mean, you took the title off some guy. It goes up against so many of these bylaws that these guys live by.
So,
And
yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I'm just kind of like I really didn't have it. The thing, just thinking about it, still stuns me.
I've been reading. I've been rereading old Meltzer newsletters. Of course, on Squared Circle they do the Wrestling Observer Rewind, and Dave talks about this, at length at the time, because they sort of they were sort of lining it up to make sure it happened, at the same time over here, and the thing about the screw job that people forget nowadays, because it's really easy to blame Vince, it's really easy to blame Shawn, it's really easy to blame Hunter.
I mean, Brett was being a shithead too.
But Brett was being a shithead too. Look,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was probably the worst person in the business at this point in time. It's just a fact. He was pilled out. But he also had a reason for his ego in that he could really put on a match with anybody in 1997, in the same way he could put on a match with anybody in 2007. It would be good.
Right. The guy's just been great his whole fucking career.
Absolutely, but he was pilled out of his mind. He was
Bret
in a
Hart
horrible
can't say the
place.
same thing.
No. And not to knock Bret. Brett's a
No,
great
not
wrestler.
knocking Bret at all, because Bret very much is one of the greatest of all time.
But if Bret can't carry you to a good match, that's the difference between Bret and Shawn. Watch Bret and Goldberg in WCW. Before Goldberg breaks Bret's fucking life in two. But watch Brett and Goldberg in WCW, and it's just not. It's not a good match. Brett has almost no good matches in WCW, and there's a reason for that. He's being put with bad workers. I think his best match is with Flair, and I think his best match is with Flair, and realistically, there's no good match for Brett in WCW,
Right. And Flair is also another one of those people that fucking try to have a bad match with Ric
wrestles
Flair.
a broom to 3 stars. It's at
Hulk
that time,
Hulk fucking Hogan admits that Ric Flair is the greatest of all time.
because he is. I mean, realistically, and I think without the Montreal Screw Job, wrestling is not what we know it to be today. It is that important. It is that influential. There's a reason that Sports Illustrated has done podcasts about, they barely talk about wrestling, and Sports Illustrated's like, well, yeah, we'll talk about the Montreal Screw Job. ESPN will talk about the Montreal Screw Job. There was an NPR podcast last year about the Montreal Screw Job just because it was vaguely relevant at the time. It is the single most important shoot thing to happen in wrestling, because it really was. It was the best possible angle you could get, and it was real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It changed the face of an industry.
Absolutely.
Hart was initially he was going to WCW, from what I understand, right?
Yes.
He was
Yes.
going to WCW.
His
and
contract was
and
signed.
he
This was known to be his last match.
He did not want to drop it to Shawn, because Shawn, like you're saying, Shawn was a terrible, disgusting human being, and he was just like, no, like, you don't deserve it. I'm not going to put you over. And like, Vince was like, I gotta do
Right, because the Hart family is very, very much known, and I mean, this was built into their gimmick as well as their real life. They were known for believing in the honor and dignity of pro wrestling.
They when it came down to it, the Harts were known for doing business. They were not known for backstage politicking. But Brett understandably got an ego. I mean, Brett was in the wrong here too, and I think.
Brett wasn't gonna. Brett, on top of it being in Canada, like, he was just not.
Brett refused to drop it to Shawn. Vince wanted the belt on Shawn. Brett absolutely refused, and it's because Shawn said that he wouldn't do the same job for Brett, which I get. I mean, I get why Brett wouldn't want to drop the belt to him, but you go out of a company on your back. It's just,
that's how it goes.
You don't go out winning. That's how wrestling goes, and Vince is understandably upset, because at this point, Brett is working without contract. Brett has agreed, okay, I'll win at Survivor Series with a fuck finish, and then 2 weeks later on Raw, I'll drop the belt in I believe they were going to do a 4-way match with The Undertaker.
Yeah, he was going to drop it to somebody, and then that person was going to drop it to Shawn in some sort of like trickle-down Reaganomics type bullshit in title drop. So,
but at that point, Brett would be working 2 weeks out of contract with WWF at the time, and 2 weeks into contract with WCW. And the way it worked out was Eric Bischoff, who was not a fan of Vince at all at the time, agreed to let Brett stay a full month if he needed to drop this belt, under the agreement that Bischoff had some say in the booking. And there's no way Vince, who is a very proud individual, is going to let his enemy at the time book his champion. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
On one hand,
there
I'm
are
not
layers.
Yeah, I'm not one to defend Vince McMahon's honor, but what else do you do in this situation?
No, I mean, it's shitty, but there are no heroes in this story. The closest thing to someone not in the wrong on this is somehow Shawn Michaels.
Fair,
because he really didn't. He was just as surprised as anybody.
Yeah, you can watch him grab the title, and he is visibly angry, and like Hunter's like, "What's going on?" And Vince is like doing the wrap it up motion, and Brett spits on Vince, and you're just like I've watched it multiple times the couple weeks ago, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is terrible.
Oh,
this is awful.
It's wild.
Yeah. So last week was Nature Boy 30 for 30, the story of Ric Flair, which was
November 7th. It dropped.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
I wish they would have done. I could
It's
have
only
watched
the
2 more
second?
hours of that. Actually, like it felt way too short. I could have done way more of it.
It was like an hour and a half, something like
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I think it was only the second 30 for 30 they've done on wrestling.
I'm not sure the first one would have been. I've seen most of the 30 for 30s because I love me some sports.
I take it back. It wasn't a 30 for 30, but they did do a 30-minute like mini doc on Scott Hall a couple of years ago that was really good.
This is the first 30 for 30
Yeah.
that they've done in terms of sports, and ESPN in and of itself has actually incorporated pro wrestling way more into its into its work, mainly because a lot of people like the anchors have actually started coming out and they really enjoy it.
Sure.
So they've started like outing themselves as wrestling fans, and politics of ESPN and ratings and stuff have dropped, and we don't know exactly why that is, and people are blaming WWE, but regardless, it doesn't matter. But yeah, first 30 for 30, and it was great.
Sure.
I love that. I love the underlying thread of Richard Fleur doesn't
Is
like.
it Fleur?
It's hard to pronounce.
Flair?
Flair?
Flair.
Yeah.
Fleur.
Richard Flair does not like Richard Flair, and that's why Ric Flair is who he is.
Sure.
And
I'm sure there's a little bit in everybody that can really.
there's a documentary about Dan Harmon, the showrunner for Community,
Yeah.
called Harmontown, and it's one of my favorites. And this kind of reminded me of that in a weird way. I really love documentaries where the focus, or the person who's the focus of the show, is definitely not the hero of the show. Ric Flair is not, as a person, is not someone to be idolized. He's not someone to look up to. There's this heartbreaking moment towards the end of it where he says, where they ask how you would like to be remembered. He says, I'd love to be known as a great father or a great husband, but that's not an option, so I'll just be the greatest pro wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
And it really hits the nail on the head. He really didn't step up to being a father until recently, and it took his son's death to turn him into that.
Yeah, the first portion they really like hit you in the nostalgia where they're like they're really hitting you with the Ric Flair's the greatest, and you really like get into that wrestling thing, and then they start getting into his personal life, and you're like, oh, I feel bad. This is making me feel bad, and you're like starting to realize, you're like, man, I don't think I like Ric Flair. Where like before in the documentary you're like, fuck, Ric Flair's awesome.
Right.
So
You get a really great moment where Hunter seems to be the hero of this story.
Sure.
You have the story basically goes that Ric Flair was being forgotten.
Absolutely.
He idolized him. He wanted to bring him in, and he was. I think they said the whole evolution gimmick, from what I understand, was
Just to get Flair on TV.
was to build him back up.
I mean, it was a continuation of the Four Horsemen gig.
100%.
Absolutely. And I think the great thing is you have a generation of wrestlers that came up idolizing one of two people. They either idolized Hulk Hogan or they idolized Ric Flair. And I think you can tell a huge difference in which wrestlers idolized one over the other. And every person that idolized Flair, it shows. It shows in ring psychology. It shows in talent and ability. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to see just what his personal life outside the ring really was, and how different it is to the limousine riding, jet flying, scene stealing, wheeling dealing,
Rolex wearing.
Absolutely. Because I can remember growing up and first seeing wrestling in about 1995, and so I'm getting all these big characters, and I don't, there's WCW and there's WWF, and I don't know why they're not together, whatever.
You're
but
like, what's going on here? Just
and there's plenty of guys in WCW I just don't care about, and I know Hulk Hogan's there, and I know this guy named Ric Flair is there, and he's a big fucking deal, and I don't understand why, but he's entertaining. Like I even young, I enjoy watching him, and I do not understand why. And as I've gotten older, I realize it's because everything that Hulk Hogan is supposed to be, Ric Flair actually is in regards to the business.
You have Hulk Hogan in that 30 for 30 talking about how how Ric Flair is the king of the hour-long match.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
how, like, he admits wholeheartedly, like, I have a plan A, a plan, or Hogan's like, look, I know exactly what I am. Do you want to do plan A, plan B, or plan A, B, C, or D?
Yep.
Ric Flair doesn't give a shit. If you want to have a 5-minute match, Flair will put on a 4-star 5-minute match.
Absolutely.
If you want to have an hour-long match, he'll put on a 6-star hour-long match.
Yep. You can look at any stage of Ric Flair's career and find a match that is an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Without question. You can't say the same for
Anybody.
I mean, Hulk Hogan cannot even touch that.
Yeah, I mean, the last match, or everybody kind of agrees that the last match with Hogan in WWE was, or that was Shawn Michaels also, wasn't it?
Ooh,
that was Shawn and Hogan, but that's
a
a match for another day, because I can talk about that match for like 20 minutes easy.
But I mean, we all agree that Shawn Michaels is a person that can put on a great match with fucking anybody.
Absolutely.
He had to really push it to his limit to get a good match out of that.
If the greatest performer of all time is not Ric Flair, it is Shawn Michaels, and that's
They're in the
because
top
Shawn
3.
Michaels wanted to be Ric Flair,
Right.
without question.
It's absolutely beautiful. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of wrestling, then you are missing out. It's
even if you're not a fan of wrestling.
honestly, yeah, because it is a beautiful, heartbreaking story.
It transcends wrestling documentaries. It transcends sports documentaries. It is a human interest story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. There's been crazy news
Oh
recently.
my
We
God.
got Jericho calling out Kenny Omega in New Japan.
Chris Jericho is about to wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the first time in almost 20 years at Wrestle
Now,
Kingdom.
As far as we all know, he's still under WWE contract.
So from what I
Jericho
understand,
can do anything that he wants at this point, right?
from what I understand, Jericho's such a company man that he can pretty much get away with most things. So he has signed a one-off deal with New Japan. Now it could be a situation where they maybe want him to stick around for 2 more big events.
To be fair, Jericho's about to do this cruise with Ring of Honor next year, so I don't know that Jericho is actually under contract. We all know that he's not necessarily loyal to WWE. He is definitely loyal to Vince.
It's actually really interesting because I was just reading about it today. Jericho wanted NXT on the boat with him, not Ring of Honor at first. And it took him about 4 months to get an answer from Vince, and Vince finally said no. And so that's why Jericho went to Ring of Honor. I think if Vince had said yes, we wouldn't be seeing Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom.
I think it's one of those things that this is a passion project for Jericho.
Absolutely.
And Vince doesn't want anything that's WWE to not be in his control completely. So there's good reason why he would say no on this.
Sure.
But Ring of Honor, I think, is more willing to play fast and loose with, doing crazy things to draw in fans of something that
Absolutely
maybe wouldn't normally go to a Ring of Honor show, but would go to a show that has Chris Jericho's name on it.
Sure, absolutely. And I think it's really interesting because one, Chris Jericho is definitely a company man. He's talked about loyalty to Vince for ages now. I think if Vince told him to pull out or had not given him the okay on this, I don't think we'd be seeing Chris Jericho wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, at the Tokyo Dome in January. But as it stands, we're getting a co-headlining match that almost knocked Okada versus Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight title out of the main event.
Now that one's Omega's decision, because I guess Omega still believes that the title should always be at the top.
Correct. But so it's still.
And if there's a company man or if there is an American company man for New Japan, Kenny Omega is the company man. He has openly said, "Fuck you, WWE."
They're both from Winnipeg, actually.
Okay.
Or they're both from Manitoba.
Yeah.
Which I think there's like 3 people, and we can name 2 of them off the top of our head.
It's this is a huge deal for New Japan. outside of New Japan being able to get a guy like CM Punk or Daniel Bryan when his contract is up, this is a huge draw for New Japan, who is
reaching out to America now.
Yeah, they
just announced that their pay-per-view shows are going to be dubbed in English.
Yep.
Which is a really big thing.
They do so on their subscription service. All their main shows are dubbed in, like they have an English commentary team, and for the past 2 years, every year there have been more shows that have been dubbed over with the English commentary, and actually have had the English commentary done live as well. And so with their expansion here into America, they're opening up a dojo in California in the fall of next year, and they're running shows over here next year. They have been on the upswing financially for 6 years now. They have continued to do better, and they're only doing 120 or 1/20th of the WWE's business at this point. But you also are seeing New Japan merch in Hot Topic now.
Yeah, that was really weird, because I was actually looking at like Bullet Club merch just to see, because I was reading up about this to talk about this.
Yeah.
And the first link that come up before New Japan's actual site is Hot Topic, and I was like, and it said Bullet Club and Young Buck merch, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's there's we're spoiler alert, we're going to SmackDown in a few weeks, but
week and a half.
Jesus Christ, a week and a half. And I guarantee you,
Bullet Club
of the 17 variations on the Bullet Club t-shirt, we're going to see all of them multiple times, including one by yours truly. But it's a guarantee. It is a guarantee, simply because they're that over.
They're fun.
Even if you don't subscribe to New Japan World, even if you have not seen many New Japan matches, because of the way New Japan works and the way they work with other promotions, CMLL, Ring of Honor, What Culture Pro Wrestling, they share talent. They trade talent out. And so you get the chance to see, realistically, the best workers in the world. There's a reason,
and also Cody Rhodes,
and Cody Rhodes.
He's part of the club right now.
Yeah,
he's
like second in command in the Bullet Club. But there's kind of New Japan's all about faction warfare, and there's kind of a rift in the Bullet Club now. So I don't know what's going to happen. Which is another reason why Wrestle Kingdom's really excited.
Hollywood Bullet Club and the Wolfpack Bullet Club.
It kind of looks like we're heading that way. Sort of a split between the elite Bullet Club and the New Japan original Bullet Club, and as if New Japan needs another faction. But
what else is happening in the news?
A couple crazy things.
Jack Swagger's going to MMA. He'll get crushed in Bellator. That's fucking non-story in my eyes.
6-fight, 3-year deal.
I always thought Jack Swagger had potential, and they put the belt on him for a little while during what I consider, there was a huge amount of like dark times during the WWE.
Absolutely.
But he was like the champion on SmackDown for during parts of the dark times.
It's like the season of SNL where Robert Downey Jr. and a few other people were on there.
Yeah.
It's just it only happened for a year.
Happened.
We all just don't think about it.
It was bad. And
the lisp doesn't help him. It's hard to take a big tough guy seriously when that big tough guy has a lisp. I know it's awful and it's just personal perception, but I
can't do it.
Dusty Rhodes got over with a lisp, but Dusty Rhodes wasn't a big tough guy either. He he just kicked your ass.
Lucha Underground got renewed despite everybody thinking
4th,
that it
5th,
wouldn't.
and 6th seasons.
Where is it? Is it still? Where is it now?
Still on El Rey.
Okay.
They cut the budget down tremendously. I think they're only getting like $400,000 an episode.
And they have a deal with Netflix, so I think that you can watch all the back episodes on Netflix, which works out because it's not like
totally worth it.
An ongoing thing, or it's like this weird soap opera.
A lot of big names or bigger names that were in it. I know
Rey Mysterio
Del Rio was in it. El Patron,
Alberto El Patron in the first season.
Wasn't Chavo?
Chavo's been in it all 3 seasons. John Morrison as Johnny Mundo.
Like you said, Rey Mysterio.
And some of the bigger indie names as well. Kairi Sane, who was Kairi Hojo at the time, wrestled in Lucha Underground. Ricochet was their main attraction as Prince Puma. He is now
actually left the company and is likely coming to NXT soon, or maybe 205 Live. But yeah, lots of big names, and I don't know. They're running on, their budget is now less than half of what it was before for each show. I think before they were operating on a similar budget to the WWE, where they got $1 million per show. Now they're operating on $400,000 per show. So they're going to have to but they also don't have any big name contracts to hold out for either.
No.
So that should help. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. The talent on that show felt one of two ways. They were either really excited to be on the show, or they felt like the show was holding them back. So we'll see what happens. But it's a great show. It's worth seeing.
It's like old school goofy wrestling.
Absolutely. There's a werewolf and a cop who does a suplex with his dick. What more do you need? What do you need more than Joey Ryan's U-pornplex?
I think that's all the important news that's happening. Scott Dawson may be back soon, so that we can finally pick up this Club versus Revival.
I'm so stoked for that feud. You do not even know. I'm more stoked than most people are for that feud, to just see 4 bald guys fight the shit out of each other, but I'm okay with it. I'm fully okay with it.
I want to make a correction from last week. I got a message from Matt, my best friend Matt, who is a giant wrestling fan and also a fantastic wrestling historian.
I'm ready.
Apparently, he knew who did the women's title, or the man who fought for the women's title in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
That would have been Harvey Whippleman.
Oh, my God. Harvey Whippleman wasn't even a wrestler. That's what, I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
Yeah, good old manager Harvey Whippleman. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Who also wrestled in Memphis as Downtown Bruno. I don't know what that name is, but it was a thing.
As we were wanting to do, let's have some fun and do some fantasy booking, shall we?
I'm into it.
Oh, I completely forgot.
Get
we
your
were gonna do this.
Get your.
This is our regular segment of.
Well, I had one, and I forgot that we were going to do it, and then you said it, and I was like, oh yeah, like.
Let's
I
start out with
actually
you
have a
because we
halfway
skipped you
decent
last time.
It's true.
Well, I had like the hair versus hair. I'm going to continue this hair versus hair. I have one that's actually halfway good, but I'm going to continue the hair versus hair because currently
we'll let
it
you
was
touch
just
on both because we skipped you last week because you couldn't think of anything.
because it was currently it's just Braun versus Baron Corbin in singles competition.
Sure.
I'm just going to continue adding wrestlers to this until it becomes just a shit show of a match that we can do.
He's just hoping that everyone ends up bald.
Eventually, everybody's going to look like Luke Gallows.
I'm okay with that.
But I'm adding Dean Ambrose this week.
Okay.
Because obviously, it's going to continue to get to the point where I really don't know what to do about this, but I'm going to start picking people from NXT eventually. But yeah, Dean Ambrose is currently a triple threat, and it's Dean Ambrose, Braun Strowman, and Baron Corbin. And whoever wins, everybody loses their hair.
I like it.
Nobody actually wins, but we all win.
Okay, whoever wins should be the one to get the clippers and get to do it, but they also have to shave their own head.
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Actual serious booking, considering I have been one that's been anti-brand warfare because it doesn't matter. If they really wanted to make this a thing, I think they really missed a spot that they could have done. I think they should have added NXT to the booking for Survivor Series, if only just for the elimination match, and had Triple H head up his own NXT team.
That would have been really good.
Because they're building NXT as its own brand, even though it's the minor leagues. If they really wanted to add some actual pop to this, Triple H heading his own team against Angle, against McMahon, against some of the NXT stars that he's built could have been something that would have been fantastic.
I think that they really need to not do that personally. I think that they really need to just have NXT be like or WWE's own WCW, where it's its own separate entity. They need to stop treating it like it's the Indies because the talent is just so great.
Right.
I would really love to see NXT just become its own thing, or grow it bigger, grow it larger, keep the small budget because that's fun as shit to watch. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. And you can.
The ramp's like three feet long, and then you are right on the ring.
It's like watching an old episode of ECW. The arena's small,
yeah.
The crowd is into it. You know, you get 3 or 4 matches where they really get to shine, even if it's a 2-minute squash match.
Have it be what the ECW show under the WWE banner should have been.
Sure.
That's on it. Nor that's completely unrelated to booking.
Who's your Survivor Series team for NXT?
That's hard because
ignore War Games booking.
Ignore War Games booking.
Take your 4 guys with Triple H.
That's hard because a lot of them are on the main roster now. Because like you get
Sure.
like if I could pick NXT like alumnus,
right.
then I have a way bigger.
Yeah,
way
it's like
bigger
a 30
thing.
person versus 5 versus 5.
So I have a way bigger thing. I mean, currently, you pick McIntyre because he's your champ.
Sure.
I would go Aleister Black, probably because he's got that like wild card crazy with him, and then probably the authors to roll to round it out as an actual team. That's probably what I would roll with.
Nick, you got any crazy fantasy booking?
Crazy fantasy booking. Let me see if I can come up with something. You want funny? You want serious?
Go nuts, sir.
Go nuts.
I got funny coming.
Oh, you got funny? I'll try and go serious. Okay, let's see. Oh, go with funny first. I'll come up with something serious while you're thinking. I'm going
to go completely outside of the WWE or NJ or New Japan, for that matter. I say we do an old school 90s invasion gimmick.
Okay.
With Billy Corgan's NWA invading ICP's wrestling league.
Juggalo Championship Wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know who wrestles in either of those, but I don't care.
Important.
But I think that it would be great to have a dead career rock star invasion.
Can we get a Juggalo on a pole match? Or a Hatchet on a pole match, maybe?
I just want to see Billy Corgan smashing pumpkins over ICP.
Pumpkin on a pole match. Just that's the only thing I can think of when I can think of just horrible fucking booking ideas. Is just put something on a pole, and that's just no. I'd watch it. I'd watch the shit out of that. Embarrassingly enough.
It's just novelty all day.
Okay, I'm gonna make the running theme of my gimmick booking that it involves the club somehow from now on.
Put them on TV, damn it.
That's my
a
goal.
gimmick. Yeah, I'd like that.
So we'll go with serious this week. So Joe and Balor are about to feud. I think Joe is really over hot with Brock. I think instead of feeding Finn to Brock at Mania, which I think is the current plan.
I could not roll my eyes harder at that.
No, it's a horrible fucking idea. Instead, feed Joe again, except make Joe a face. How do you make Joe a face? Next pay-per-view, we're clearly going to get a Finn versus Joe match. That's going to happen. So it looks like Finn's got it. Joe kind of sort of pulls it out at the end. Joe wins. Joe is your conquering champion. Finn gets up, and he's your face. He's proud of Joe. He goes to shake Joe's hand. Gallows and Anderson hit the ring. You get a 3-on-1 original club reunion beatdown on Samoa Joe, the guy who does not get beat down. And then Finn's just like, I'm done with you. I put you on the ground. I don't need you. You let Finn go on his way and just fucking heal it up because he can do it. If you've ever seen
He's
Finn,
got that look.
Oh, absolutely. Finn's that really
He's got
handsome
that
guy.
Fonzie look.
Hey.
Punch that jukebox and get a working look.
He punches the jukebox, but it just plays his theme. But no, so Finn. It plays the demon theme where it's like the heartbeat at first. Like he hits it and it's heartbeat. He's like, oh no, it's not. Hits it again, heartbeat.
It's all like, ba-na.
So you've got Finn in the club just healing it up over here. Joe is sort of facing Brock Lesnar, but man, just let heel Finn and Gallows and Anderson just go after everybody. Have them kneecap
Anybody,
Braun. Yeah. Have him just run rampant over the roster, and then fuck it, have Finn in the Rumble. Joe loses at the Rumble to Brock Lesnar, and everyone's proud of him, and he's Samoa
opens
Joe.
so much because you could have a club versus the Shield matchup.
club
just-
loyalty to AJ Styles.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is you put Finn, obviously they're going to do Roman versus Lesnar at WrestleMania, but why when you can, I don't know, put Finn in the Rumble and then suddenly Gallows and Anderson are also in the Rumble and Finn only has to work half his work rate because Gallows and Anderson are making sure Finn wins this match. It's great. Stables always do great in the Rumble. When you had the Wyatts in the Rumble, it worked. When you had Punk with the Nexus in the Rumble, it worked. The people are already sort of complaining that Finn is stale or that they're not on the Finn train. Turn him heel. WWE knows how to write heels. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to faces, but they know how to write a heel.
There's a reason why everybody wants to be a heel.
Yeah. It's hard to naturally be a baby face.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Very few people have been babyface their whole career, and there's a reason for that.
Ricky Steamboat?
Yeah, and Ricky Steamboat's character is, I'm Ricky Steamboat.
The end?
That's his gimmick.
Can we think of anybody else?
John Cena.
Until recently.
John Cena was,
He was a heel at first.
Yeah, he started off as like the project, the machine,
prototype.
that's what
John
it was.
Cena. Until recently, Sammy was a career face.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel about the heel turn. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad.
I'm enjoying it.
But
It makes me erect.
hey, I like having Sammy on TV. I won't complain. But Sammy was a career face up until recently. It is hard to be a face all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the eventual do something with the club and eventually include AJ Styles because of course everybody wants to include AJ Styles in this weird
Sure.
club possible thing, and then you got the people coming up from NXT who are also who are also in the
you've
club.
got Adam Cole coming up soon.
At some point, you're going to have 3 former club leaders on the main roster, and to do nothing with them is just a fucking travesty.
Dream fantasy booking here. I've told Brian about this before. I want a 3-way club face-off. I want you to bring over the Young Bucks. I want you to bring over Kenny Omega, and I want you to bring over Tama Tonga and the other fucking Tonga. I can't remember his name. Haku's other kid, the Gorillas of Destiny. And fuck it, then you've got 9 men from the Bullet Club. Give me
Split
3 teams. Give me Kenny and the Young Bucks. Give me Finn, Carl, and Luke. Give me AJ and the Gorillas of Destiny. And fucking let them go at it. Because you will not get a bad match there. We're talking about...
That one is super fantasy booking considering brand or considering company loyalties.
Considering company loyalties, it is super off-brand. But my God.
pending litigation.
You know what? That litigation is awful, but the one thing that I think that could end that litigation is a big fat contract. I don't know that they would do it, but the one thing that would end that litigation is a big fat contract. And if the Young Bucks have shown us anything, man, they really like money. All about it.
So yeah, I mean, if they don't do a Styles versus Balor for club loyalty, even just with Gallows and Anderson, at any point during both of their careers, if they go through that whole thing and Gallows and Anderson leave and they never do a club thing,
It would be
especially
such
since
a waste.
especially since Styles is technically the first leader of the American WWE iteration of the club,
Right.
He's already got it. You're wearing a goddamn Balor Club sweatshirt right now.
AJ
I
still
don't
got
know
the
what to
club
do with
logo
this.
on his vest.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's the fruit is so low hanging that I don't even want to pick
I don't know if
it.
you caught this
It's-
on Carl Anderson's knee pad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. There's it's hashtag BC.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
They're still loyal to what they started.
oh yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing is, the Bullet Club's still loyal to them too. They shout them out all the fucking time.
Right.
You know,
To the point where you still have fuck the revival going.
yeah, the fuck the hashtag FTR is still a thing. Honestly, God, oh man, I want the Young Bucks just to come over for a Young Bucks fucking revival match. Just 2 teams that work completely different styles but are so good at what they do. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would be just the happiest. That's my dream booking for the week is a 3-way club feud with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and the Gorillas of Destiny making an exodus from New Japan to the WWE to get ruined for a year.
Yeah.
Because that's how that happens.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, we are a brand new podcast, as you could tell by our episode count on literally everything that you could listen to us on. Please, please like, comment, give us a rating, like a star rating or something. It helps bring us up on the charts. We would love to
share us on all your social media.
Yep, all those things. Buy next book comes out the 22nd.
Do that, please.
In between days.
I'll reward you somehow. I haven't decided yet. I don't book on the fly.
Or honestly, for real, if you were to be, or if you hit him up on Twitter and are like, "Hey, I'm buying your book. Can you throw me some swag?"
I'll do it. I'll send you stuff. I'll if you're within 100 miles, I'll give you a free hand, Joe.
That's a big radius.
100 miles. 100 miles.
That's a huge radius.
100 miles any direction. So free hand, Joe.
It's like
just hit me up on
states.
Twitter. Yeah. Shit. That's shit.
No, you said it.
Yeah, I'm fucked now. Well, not really. It's just a hand, Joe.
Right.
It's fine. I'll wear a glove.
Some people really, really like that. Good night, you marks.